Moon gang. Hello. Folks. We have quite a bit to talk about today. We're going to be getting into some math stuff, so let's put on the glasses so I better look the part of the math that I think it's very important for us to discuss. Hey, if you want your baseball jerseys with tigers and flowers and moon gang, it's in the merch store. But overall, I'm excited. I am very, very excited today, folks. I want to get that out. I don't want anyone accusing me of like, hey, I think Matt's excited. Is he? Isn't he? I'm admitting it right now. Very, very excited. I know AMC is not at the price level we all want it to be at right now, but the reason why I'm excited is last night, well, I should say early this morning. Here's what happened. Let me take you on a little bit of a story. I was thinking more about this Say Technologies things, the vote for the upcoming earnings announcement. And let me give you, I guess, the headline for why I'm excited. I think that this vote that we are doing for the earnings announcement is the most mathematically significant thing we have seen in the past 6 months of proof of naked shorts. Let me repeat that. The vote for the upcoming earnings call on Monday, August 9th, the vote that retail public can engage in and register their shares and upvote Timothy on the dividend question, I think it is the most mathematically significant thing we have seen in the past 6 months that is evidence of naked shorts, counterfeit shares, phantom shares, whatever you want to call them. I'm not messing around when I said, after the stream yesterday, I got off and then I called up my local place. I was like, yo, I need a buffalo chicken cheesesteak. They're like, all right, we got you. I got that. And then I sat there and I started reading around and I was like, oh, I wonder how we can actually use these numbers. And for those of you who don't know, before I ended up professionally screaming at a webcam in my basement, what I did, I was a computer scientist. High school and college, I've been geared in the world of math. And then a year before the pandemic hit, I decided to start a master's in statistics. And what I wanted to use was my computer science degree, my statistics as a master's, and actually use that somewhere in New York. When the pandemic hit, they put classes on hold. I started this, and then I just never returned to school. But I was about halfway through the program. So I'm a full computer scientist and half a statistician. So anyway, someone said something on Twitter about this average. And first of all, it is high level view. You cannot take the 4 million or the 4.1 million and across the board multiply it by the average. That is poor math. It does not explain the situation. Anyone you see out there who takes the 4 million and then multiplies it by whatever the current average is, and when I'm saying the current average, what I'm referring to is 33.7 million divided by 28.5. You can't do that. That is that's an understanding of what an average is, and that's fine. But this is a little bit more statistically complex, the math behind it. And what I'm referring to, and someone out there this morning was tweeting me that someone on Reddit had posted some PhD math person explain this. I cannot find that. If you can find that Reddit post, please DM it to me. Someone was saying that a PhD, a math statistician was trying to explain the situation. I would love to know if their math aligned with mine. So here's what my night into early morning was. I was up until about 2 or 3 in the morning because someone said something and I just wanted the math to prove it because this is my domain. This is the part that this is where I excel, is this math part. So I'm cracking open all of my previous, notes and stuff from the stat degree. And I wanted to explain to everyone how you cannot just average it, but the numbers are still, like I said, the most significant thing we've seen that's proof of counterfeit shares. Let me explain. So what people are doing, taking this number, and they're just dividing it and they're multiplying it by the 4 million. You can't do that because that's not the true average. It is the average, but it's not, I guess, descriptive of what we're seeing here. Think about it in this way, where not everyone is going to have a $30,000+ investment in AMC of 4 million. It's just not how it's going to work. I don't think many people involved in this have that much money disposable to them. What we have is, in the world of stats, it's referred to as a bimodal distribution. Whoa, Matt. All bimodal means is that it has two different spikes. So like if you had a chart, instead of just one spike, it would be a spike, a lull, and another spike. When this was taught to me, one of the best examples of a bimodal distribution is think about the times restaurants are busy. You have a spike in the morning, they might not do anything for lunch, and then you have a spike for dinner. So you have two different spikes on the exact same chart, a spike, a lull, and a spike. That's what I'm assuming the ownership of AMC is like, and I think there's a lot of reason to assume that. So the way we could use that is I think we would see a giant spike around the 120 shares. Where am I getting 120 shares? That's from early June. Adam Aaron tweeted that out. I think we see a lull, and then I think we see another spike of people who just have thousands of shares. Like the amount of messages I've seen of like, everyone's like, I'm a XXXX holder. And like, I'm assuming that's going to probably be in the realm of somewhere, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 to 4,000. And that's the number that we can get out of here. And right now it looks like that number is settling around 1.2 thousand. That extra spike. So we see a spike, we see a lull, we see another spike. So how do you get the average from that? Because we know we can't just take this number and apply it to all 4 million. It's just not mathematically accurate. So what you do is you figure out the weighting. You figure out the weighting as in like how much weight to give the first amount, that first spike around the 120 shares, and then you figure out how much weight to give the second one. Once again, if you just want to quickly search it, bimodal distribution, one of the best things, like how I learned it, was just look at the restaurant times, the busyness. It's not one spike. Sometimes you have two different spikes. And let's say that this place is a diner and it's known for a kick-ass breakfast. That would be a bigger spike. It would take a lull, and maybe it offers dinner, but maybe it's just not that popular. The spike would be less. So we're looking at two different spikes with two different heights. And I know this is getting a little bit in the weeds of the math, but basically when I ran through it, and I was as conservative as I could possibly be, and there's various ways to actually compute a bimodal distribution. Like I said, there's various ways. This is crazy. When I did it, I was lowering every number I could possibly think of to make the most conservative floor value. And I could not mess with the numbers enough to really get it below 750 million shares. And I'm saying that was me going out of my way of like, okay, if it's not 120 shares, if it's 100 shares, if we lower the 1.2 thousand, and I was messing with the weightings, I could not get the number to come below 750 million shares. Why is that a big deal? Well, this is why it's a big deal. We know that AMC has 513 million shares outstanding. We also know that the coverage right now, the shares on loan of 85% of coverage is 100 million. So that brings us up to 600 million, 615. If we throw on another 15%, let's just say we're looking at 650 for the ease of math. No matter what I did, and I'm saying like I was twisting the numbers as low as I intentionally could. Mathematically, I could not explain at least 100 million. And I know some people are going to take this and he's like, oh, it's only 100 million. No, I'm saying I went out of my way to purposely distort the numbers south just to see if I could somehow explain it in like the weirdest universe, and I couldn't. No matter what I did, there was at least 100 million. And honestly, when we take the fair numbers, or like with in stat, you're gonna have like a confidence interval, and when you have any reasonable confidence interval, you're looking at 300, 400, 500, possibly even more million, and that's still a conservative value. So what I want to do this afternoon is actually kind of run through it a little bit more and show you the math of it. Because no matter what I did, the most conservative possible thing, I could not mathematically explain the situation going on right now. I want to explain that you can't just average it when people are saying all these billions and billions and billions, like excessively billions more. I think they're just taking the average and multiplying it by 4 million. That's not right. It gets a little bit more complex. You have to do a bimodal distribution and figure out the weighting and then figure out the average that you want to multiply it by for those two averages. But no matter what I did, I couldn't. There was no mathematical reasoning for it. It's very, very interesting. And that's what I'll do in the afternoon session. Maybe I'll get some drawing up there and I'll explain the math. And like I said, just to clarify, and I know people are going to say, he's like, there's only this many. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the math I did, the most conservative value, still does not explain the current situation we're in with AMC. And that's why I think what this Say Technologies vote is still the most significant thing we've seen in terms of evidence of counterfeit phantom synthetic shares. And with that, I took it one step further, and in like the middle of the night, I'm emailing a guy. There is one person who is heavily involved in the overstock situation. If you don't know about that, that's another stock that was being basically naked shorted and some issues. I'm reaching out to that person who runs a company who looks into naked shorting to see if we can get an interview with him and see how some of this stuff actually aligns. So just so you know, I'm working on some things in the back end to get another interview with a guy who's been into actual legal cases with naked shorting before. And then I also want to explain this math to you. But overall, this August 9th shareholder earnings call, whatever we want it, like what it is, this vote that we're allowed to do, people voting on Timothy B's blows my mind. This is very important and useful for the community. Right now, the more votes, the better. I understand that some people are kind of uncomfortable with giving your brokerage login because you have to give your brokerage login to create an account to verify your shares. If you don't want to do that, okay, that's up to you. If you're in the middle and you're like, hey, it seems a bit iffy, but I'm still willing to do it, we'll do it and then change your password. And no matter what you do, ensure that two-factor authentication is turned on your account. It's very, very important. You should have that security anyway. So if you're very worried about it, okay, don't vote. If you're kind of worried about it, change your password, enable two-factor authentication. And if you're not worried about it at all, well, sign up and vote. I know depending on your brokerage and all that stuff, you might not be able to sign up. Specific to Webull, there is no Webull option. You're going to have to go through Apex Clearing, create an Apex Clearing account, link your Webull account, and then go from there. But overall, I saw some people concerned about Plaid. Everything I know about Plaid is it's a highly, highly reputable company. I'm using Plaid to connect that to my brokerage to get money from my bank to my trading account. I would not have worry about Plaid. People who are trying to scare you about Say Technologies, in my personal opinion, I mean, Adam Aron tweeted this out. I don't think the CEO of AMC is tweeting out a malicious link that somehow gives away our information. Folks, if you're worried about somehow a market maker or a hedge fund getting your trading information, we already live in a world of payment for order flow. They already have our order flow. They already know what you're buying and they already know what you're selling. Unless you've from the start been routing your orders through something like Fidelity to a non-market maker thing, this concept of like, oh, they're using it to know your positions. They know our positions. That's what payment for order flow is. They are like this concept of like, oh, you're giving away what's in your brokerage. Yes, it is reasonable to be worried about theft. You don't want to be hacked. But this concept that, oh, like market makers, they already know what we're doing, folks. That's what payment for order flow is. If you're worried about that, it's already happened. Like most likely, if you're on a thing, Robinhood, Webull, or almost any other brokerage out there, if that's what you've been trading on, they already know, folks. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but come on. They already know that. So if you're worried about getting hacked and doing that, I get it. That's fair. If you have a big concern, just don't do it. But change your password, two-factor authentication. But overall, I think that this question asked by Timothy B is one of the most significant things of proof of phantom shares, counterfeit shares, synthetic shares, whatever you want to call them. So I'm interested. I believe you can vote all the way up into this weekend. It's exciting stuff. And I'm looking forward to making a video about kind of the math behind this and how it all like adds up. But if you look at the numbers we have from Ortex, just there's millions of shares that I don't think are mathematically explained. And I feel very, very confident in the math that I was doing last night to show that. Like, I just don't, it's not as simple as just averaging, but man, I'm very, very excited. And I'm also excited to hopefully get that interview with the guy who is doing naked shorting, like looking into that, especially, and how it relates to other companies. So that should be pretty fun. What is the link? I tweeted it out, but you don't have to take my link. I recommend everyone go to Adam Aaron's page and get it from there. I want everyone to feel comfortable in this scenario. So Adam Aaron tweeted it out. Right here. It's he tweeted it on July 31st, and I believe you can vote all the way up. I don't know, maybe August 8th, this Sunday. The earnings call is on August 9th. I will be live streaming that. It's right here, but you can follow the link right from his page. Cool stuff. I just want, I guess, to also clarify this concept of who did it. This is in no way me. I did not come up with this. It's very creative. It was clearly a wrinkly-brained ape who thought of this concept. It's not mine in any way. I'm not trying to, like, I guess, steal the thunder of it. But whoever came up with this, and I don't know who the original person is, because like I guess I'm seeing various people claim that they came up with it. So whoever the original person is, thank you. Highly, highly creative. And very, very smart. Very smart. All right, that I want to go over some other things before the market opens. All right, first off, I saw this. Hang on, let me let me make sure the volume is up for all of you folks.
The data services are incorrectly reporting information that is not consistent with GAAP. That's something that we've obviously been talking to these data services about intensively.
Sorry, it's max volume.
This has caused what honestly massive short selling in our shares, and our stock has dropped markedly. Candidly, we think that's a buying opportunity for a lot of people because we do think we will get this addressed. They can't misreport our numbers forever. We believe the data.
So basically, this is an old clip from Adam Aaron back in 2019 of how the numbers of AMC are not being reported properly. He's not exactly referring to the short interest not being, that's not what he's referring to, but he's saying the numbers are being reported incorrectly, and that's causing shorts to come in and really beat the stock down. That one wasn't the top tier one I wanted to show you. This is what I wanted to show you from this morning. So early this morning, Gary Gensler went on Squawk Box, and the guy that many of us dislike, Andrew Sorkin. I think it's weird that he's willing to go on this, but not to go on with Charles Payne. But anyway, I don't want to blow your ears out. I don't know what the volume is going to be on this one, but this is interesting.
A whole new generation of investors going on TikTok, going on Reddit, going on all sorts of other places, promoting either a cryptocurrency or promoting a stock. Where does the SEC see their role in that conversation?
I think it's the same it's been for decades. It's trying to foster good debate and dialogue, just like on this program here, about investing, and the retail engagement is positive, but also to guard against fraud and manipulation, and whether that's from big actors, big hedge funds in the markets, or not, and also to promote transparency. We are taking a real close look at market structure. And I recently started engaging on Twitter, and to some of those Twitter followers that are writing about dark pools. We are looking very closely at this market structure that so many of our orders, retail public orders, are not going to the lit markets, but are going to internalizers, going to wholesalers who are taking the retail public's trades rather than sending them to the stock exchanges.
I see that there's some volume issues. I mean, I put it on max volume. I don't really, I'm sorry about that. I could kind of quickly sum them up. So the first one was just previously in 2019, Adam Aaron speaking about how, I guess essentially they feel like AMC for a while now has felt like their numbers are being reported incorrectly, which I think is kind of interesting. And then that one specifically led to, like, he's been saying this since 2019. So I think that's a good one to check out. Feel free to rewind it if you just want to see where it's posted, if you had any audio issues. This one is from Melissa Lee this morning. She retweeted it, and this was from Squawk Box. This is the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler, coming on. A couple things I want to point out about this one. This Sorkin guy, I don't know. I have nothing nice to say about him. Like, the dude right there, he's leading the chairman of the SEC to start off the day by saying, oh, but what about these people on social media? That's manipulation, right? Like, you're going to look in that. Dude, he's such a little weasel about all this stuff. It is not, I am not telling anyone to buy. I'm not telling anyone to sell. Trey is not telling anyone to buy. Trey is not telling anyone to sell whatsoever. We're not telling you what to do. We're trying to lay out a scenario. We're trying to report what is possibly going on in the scenario, explaining the math, explaining what short interest. It's all about sharing an opinion and sharing a little bit of education. You should not be taking trades based on what I do or don't do. I'm just trying to teach you a little bit about the market, offer a little bit of commentary on what is actually happening. That is freedom of speech. You are allowed to share your opinions. No, you cannot manipulate the market by coordinating a pump, coordinating a dump. You cannot do that. I don't want anyone following me. I want you to do your fact check me, do your own DD, and dive into it. Make sure you're confident with the trade yourself. You should have your own trading plan. And then yet you have people like Andrew here that all they do, they're so fascinated with it. You also see it in other, stock market commentary people. They're so incredibly fascinated with social media manipulating the market. Are you kidding me? Have you not seen how the Wall Street system has been working for years? And they're pissy about people on Twitter, on Reddit, on YouTube. Like, are you kidding me? So he's leading the chairman with that, and then the chairman smashes it back in his face. He says, no, we're not, he's focused more on the market structure. They're talking about dark pools, how they're actively looking into dark pools. He said that in this interview. We're looking into market structure. We're trying to figure it out. And on top of that, also looking into internalizers. That's a very nice way to say we're looking into market makers. Dark pools, market makers, that's what he's looking into. He's not concerned about this social media thing unless they're legitimately manipulating it. People like this, I hate it, because they come across on national TV as if they're trying to help the general public. That's what they're trying to do. Hey, we're trying to share Wall Street stock market news with you, the average person. He does this. Jim Cramer does this. The endless amount of people who do this. And then yet, that's the general public. And yet, now they're getting pissy at it. In my mind, it's so disingenuous what they're trying to do. If you want to do this, make a podcast, send it to your buddies on Wall Street if you're going to speak like this. But to somehow argue that you're, with an unbiased opinion, trying to report on what's happening in the market, that is bullshit. Across the board, that is bullshit. These people, like Sorkin, like Cramer, are actively against the retail trader. I mean, we saw that with Cramer when he went on to Jon Stewart, talking about all these things he knows, and he's not sharing their actual information. Someone like Cramer legitimately is a wealth of knowledge. And the issue is, and maybe it's someone above him who owns his show or his likeness or his copyright. They don't want people like that to share their actual knowledge of how Wall Street functions. And that's what's so dangerous about this community, is the community is getting to a certain size where we're starting to ask the questions from the people who know the legitimate answers. People like Dave Lauer are willing to come on shows like this and various other shows. I know he's gone on Superstonk for an AMA, things like that, Twitter Spaces. It's getting very, very dangerous for, let's say, how Wall Street used to run, because our voice is getting way, way too large, and the group as a whole is getting way, way too informed. And we're basically just calling bullshit when people like this say, watch this interview again. The guy is fascinated with trying to get the SEC chairman to be like, oh, but what about social media? That's not fair what they're doing. You know what's not fair? What Wall Street is doing, what they did in the early 2000s, what they did in 2008, and what they were doing really over the past year. Like, so if you're going to, like, I guess, throw stones at someone who is doing something illegitimate that is harmful to the U.S. economy, the U.S. Wall Street, or, I mean, really the stock market on anywhere in the nation, no, let's maybe look at the people who have the money and the political influence and who have been making billions, if not trillions of dollars in its entirety off that system. Maybe not the people who are working 9 to 5 just trying to get by and like buy like their kids something nice once in a while. It's so fascinating that he's just become borderline obsessed with like talking shit on the Ape Nation community. I find it very descriptive of who he is at his core. When the history books are written, I am very confident that we are on the right side of it, of someone fighting for legitimate, positive change, not this guy who is essentially like shilling for the Wall Street entity. Like, it's just such, it's so pompous of him. It's so incredibly pompous. Very quickly, before the bell rings, now I have less than 5 minutes to run through all the numbers that you guys are probably curious about. AMC already borrowed 3.77 million net against it, 3.87 million borrowed, 3.77 million net, short interest of 15.66%. This could lead, like, if they're going to throw it at the stock, we know it's a lower volume environment. So if they dump these on AMC, that's going to be some selling pressure. GME, already an interesting net return of 2.7 million today. So maybe some shorts that we're covering 2 days ago. I find that or 7,000. Sorry, I thought this was a million. Never mind. This is pretty much net neutral. I was confusing this with AMC where we had a million. M is definitely different than K. So this isn't much of a change. Short interest is going up though on GME, 16.3%. Those are the Ortex numbers to start off the day. Just so you know, the overall market right now, very close to its all-time high. It looks like it's gapping down a bit, but it is still within striking distance of an all-time high. This is the S&P 500. In terms of AMC, we are currently at support as of now. In pre-market, we are bouncing off of it. I would love to see a test and a breakthrough of 40 to 42. We obviously have support around 33, 33.50. In fact, we have a region of support between 30 and really 34. In terms of GME, we are right now trading at 153, and I like this. Yesterday, remember right at the end of the day, we saw a huge jump from 149 all the way up to 159. I reported on that. We got it from Benzinga, which shout out to Benzinga, free trial pinned to the top of the description. But they basically, right here, there was a considerable block trade right at the end of the day, 768,000 shares, which is huge, especially for a stock that is valued at $152 at that moment in time. If you want this type of information, like I said, free trial pinned to the top of chat. But anyway, I digress. We're looking for 150 to hold, key psychological level. Below that, we have 145. Right now, we're in the realm of it being clearly oversold, so I'm looking for a bounce soon. Obviously, knock on wood, fingers crossed, anything can happen. I'm not guaranteeing squat, but this is just what we're looking for in the general, I guess, daily setup. What has me scratching my head, a lot of people were calling this out, is they knew the amount of animosity towards Robinhood, and a lot of people were calling this out of don't short it. It seems like a trap, and that's exactly what Robinhood has been. Huge run up in price on Robinhood. I think that they knew a lot of people wanted to bet against it. They just didn't like what Robinhood stood for. They don't like what Robinhood has said. They definitely don't like what Robinhood did in late January, early February, and I think Wall Street at large knew that a lot of retail was against it. And right now we're seeing a massive run up on Robinhood. I have absolutely no position on Hood, Hood. I'm not long, I'm not short, I'm not anything. I'm just trying to basically tell you guys that you were right. The people who were betting against it, it seems like they were trapped by Wall Street, and right now it's running up by quite a bit. It's currently trading at $54. I do believe Kathy Wood at ARK Invest took a considerable position in Hood, so that might be prompting some form of an excitement. With me, it's a non-play. I think it's going to be very volatile. I mean, by the fact that it's a recent IPO, and on top of that, it's also just Robinhood. So I personally have I have no position I'm not touching it. I think it'll just be too much whiplash. So for me, completely staying away. I just wanted to let you know, please be careful with it. This thing could rip up. It could completely crater down. It could trade sideways. I have no good read on it. I have no reasoning of why it's running so much. I think it is momentary. I just don't know how long that particular moment will be. Ding, ding, ding. The casino is open. The casino is open. All right. Let's get this thing going today, folks. Top left, we have AMC at 34.40. GME we have in the top right at 153. On the bottom left, we have IWM, which is the ETF for the Russell 2000, trading at 219.30. And then on the bottom right, we have Robinhood, which opened at 54.50, and it's trading at 57 right now, running like a madman. I mean, I say this on any stock. It doesn't even matter what the ticker is. I do not... I have found anecdotally from my own trading, it is bad to chase, especially out of the gate. This is an all-time high for Robinhood. Do what you want. Do absolutely what you want, but I've just found that it's far too common that you see excitement right out of the gate and then the rug gets pulled. I know it's exciting, especially right away to buy if you see something moving, but I've just seen it too many times where something happens, it's a rip up or a drop down, and then right within the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of market open, we see a reverse. So that's why I just have my rule, and it doesn't even pertain to anything on the screen, just in general, my trading, I like to wait those first 15, 20, 30 minutes. I just don't want to get like whiplash right out of the gate. All right, AMC kicking off the day in a very strong manner, 34 up to 35. Here, let's do this. All right, auto. While we're waiting for those first 15 minutes to pass, let's go through some of these questions. Morning, Duck Gang Matt. Check out Toggle AI. They send an insight about AMC. Super bullish. I have not heard about Toggle AI. I'll look into that though. Thank you. AMC price 33.50. Market cap 26.36 billion. No, that is the wrong market cap. Lux flows. That's not the right market cap. AMC has a market cap of 18 billion right now. Sent a Reddit link, Twitter DM. Oh, is that referring you? I think you're referring to the this, like, I just heard that someone, like some PhD person did some math on it. Exciting. I DM'd you on Twitter, the Reddit post. Thank you. I'll check that out. I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to see if the person, if like we're in alignment with our view on what this average is. They won't log in with Fidelity, so number probably higher. Not necessarily, because if you can't log in, there's people probably with a lower amount on Fidelity that also can't report theirs. It does cut both ways. Very interesting. If you look at Robinhood's market cap for AMC divided by, that's not how you should do it. Robinhood's market cap is wrong. It's Robinhood. It's not that good of a platform. Robinhood's market cap of AMC is wrong. Don't use it. It's a clear mistake. Thank you, Jessica. I found a way to inflate my share count by mistake. By buying more. What if the real share average is actually 1,200 shares, but Adam had to cut off a zero for legal reasons in his tweet? No, cutting it off, that would get him into legal issues. If you publicly lie like that, I mean, it was filed with the SEC. How would that be legal issues, Nathan? I don't think he cut a zero off. That would be, if he did cut it off, that would be big legal issues against him. Do you know how many people in Ape Nation alone would like hire a lawyer today if we found that out? Trying to sign up, but Webull isn't on Plaid. Yeah, Geek Easy. You have to go through Apex Clearing. Kramer can tell everyone in America to buy, sell on national TV, but if one of us gets drunk at a bar and mentions AMC, they're a criminal. Shout out, Sam. I set up through Apex Clearing from my Webull account. I'm finding it difficult to go forward and get the info to the survey. How do I link it exactly? You create an Apex clearing account, and then you have to put in your Webull account information in Apex, and then that'll allow you to vote on Say Technologies. Andrew created the show Billions, which is all about fraud and manipulation in the market. He is one of the primary creators. Check it yourself. Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Huh. He's a co-creator. I'm not I mean, I think he's obviously, just because someone's smart, that doesn't mean that they're moral. Do I think Andrew Sorkin is a smart person? Yes. But that doesn't mean that they're a moral person. That doesn't mean they're an altruistic person. Being smart and being I guess what I would consider to be a good person, they don't necessarily have to go together. In my opinion, he's a smart person. But I don't know if he's using his intellect in a manner that is necessarily progressing society. Hood is halted. It's a volatility halt. Just yesterday, people were talking about, like, right there, it ran up too much in too short of a time. Volatility halt. Can you check out Stalker Python Where website and look up the FTD's T35 dates? A great tool if the website is legit. Okay, I'll have to look that up. I don't really necessarily want to pull it upstream without doing like my own fact checking on it. Shout out P Cappy. We made also a share counter as well in our German ape community. 17,000 apes already reported their shares. I'll send you a link on Twitter. Shout out Rock and Roller Trading. This is you at your best. The passionate rants have a wonderful positive influence on the community. Keep it up. Your fave options trader. Shout out. As soon as the poor learn the rules, the rich cry foul. Keep spreading the truth. Thanks for all you do and your hard work. Shout out, Brian. Thoughts on XELA and MMP? I'll pull those up in a bit. XELA, it was looking strong. I have no XELA position, and I definitely have no MMP position, but XELA, I'll pull it up after like kind of the open settles down. I tried to add Webull on Safe for the share count, but I couldn't find Webull, although I found on Robinhood which countries will you visit after the mother of all short squeezes. Once again, you can't add Webull. You have to go through Apex clearing. What countries will I visit? I mean, I think I'd like to visit so many of them. Like, I don't know if there's just one. I'd love to go on like a world tour. Matt, I'm getting margin called today. I bought every dip and lost 15K, all my family's money. So good luck to everyone. Sorry, I can't keep the shares. My dad's girlfriend's boyfriend. Hey, everyone has to worry about their own financial health. I wish the best for you. It's to get margin called on. I think you were playing options then. I don't really know the depth of your situation. But yes, there is. For anyone telling you that this is a riskless scenario, the money you're betting, there is a chance it's lost. Everyone needs to be on the exact same page about that. No one should be guaranteeing anything. I can't speak for anyone else, but I want everyone in the Moon Gang listening to this right now to please understand there is risk in anything in the stock market, not just AMC and GME, which obviously there is risk. And like, I think that's being understated out there. There is risk in this. This is not like a guaranteed profitable scenario. That's just not how the stock market works at all. I tried to, all right, we did that. Milton, I bought my first option this week, 36 strike Friday. Thoughts? Brent, I'm not the biggest fan of that just because we're not seeing the most volatility in AMC. Obviously, that could change today, though. Today, you could see that spike to 36 and you can make a lot of money. That is very possible. But right now, I am not. I want to see volatility increase. I want to see the trend pick up on AMC, especially for such a short time frame. I don't see Webull and Plaid for that link on AMC because it's not. You have to go through Apex clearing. I think Adam Aaron is playing 4D chess. His naked short tweet is perfect legal cover while giving us tools to investigate it ourselves. Brilliant. Yeah, I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if he came up with it, or I don't know if like it was just an ape that realized that they could use what he was saying to our advantage. But someone out there is making very shrewd observations. How do you feel about the ETF manipulation? I don't know what ETF manipulation you're referring to. With the vote share average at 1,166, even just using 12% of the 4.1 million, that's 500 million plus shares. Yeah, so remember the number that we're looking at is not just 500 million. You take the 500 million and then you add on all the shares on loan, because that are the ones that could theoretically legally be shorted. So you take the outstanding share count and you add on all the shares on loan, and that's the number you kind of want to exceed. Since Robinhood has proven to not be a great company, I wonder why hedge funds aren't shorting Robinhood. Manipulated. What is happening with Hood is a pump to get people out of AMC and GME. In my opinion, it's a stock that can be pumped with low volume. Be very careful, just my opinion, but that run makes no sense. Yeah, I am not touching Robinhood. I don't know what's going on with it. I have no position. I think it's a scenario that people could see the huge percentage gain. It gets people excited. They end up buying in, and I don't want it to be like a rug pull scenario. So for me, I'm not touching it. Do what you think is best, but I have absolutely no Hood position. Puts on ETFs. Buying puts on ETFs is not manipulation. To just buy a stock, to just short a stock, to just buy a call or sell a call, or the same with puts, that is not manipulation. That's like the free market. If someone wants to load up on puts, you're allowed to load up on puts. Robinhood owns most of Dodge Play games with AMC. Is Hood already halted again? Is that the second halt of the day on Robinhood? Matt, I bought level 2 on Webull. Does that just show the buy sell data among Webull users? No, it shows the data for the New York Stock Exchange. My money in TD Ameritrade. It never would show it for a brokerage. It would show it for an exchange, and Webull's is specifically the New York Stock Exchange. For my audio listeners, AMC is trading at 34, GME is trading at 155, IWM is trading at 219, Robinhood is trading at 77, and it's the second halt of the day. Volatility halt. Remember what a volatility halt is. If it's when a stock moves up or down a certain percentage in a certain amount of time, you get a volatility halt. It doesn't have to be necessarily positive or necessarily negative. It's basically a huge percentage move in a very short amount of time that triggers a volatility halt. I wouldn't touch Hood even with my wife's boyfriend's banana. I knew Hood was a retail bear trap and called it out here, so went in deep, and when it dropped 10% one day, I just closed my position, and now I have AMC YOLO money with house money. Shout out Moonshots. Yeah, I mean, I know there's some people who are making money on Hood. I mean, the amount of people, like I know someone who took their Hood profits already and bought another 1,000 shares of AMC. So with it, like I'm not against that. For me, I don't feel like playing Hood. I think the rug could get ripped. But if people are making money and then pouring that into like Ape Nation investments, I have no issue with that. What's a halt? It's when the stock stops trading across all venues. Made all my money back from Robinhood. Yeah, I mean, people making money. Sweet. I won 1,200 at the actual casino. I'm going to buy the dip. I'm going to buy the dip. Vlad paper-handed. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. AMC, 34.20. GME 155.50. GME's up 1.8%. AMC's up 1.7%. And thus far, Hood is halted and it's up 65% on the day, which is absolutely insane. Hood is going up because they restricted selling of Hood on their platform. That's one way to do it. That is one way to do it. Oh, if you haven't already, quick reminder, I would appreciate it if you folks could hit a like. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. That helps me out with the algorithm. Like, subscribe. Also, in the midday, someone's talking about AMD is ripping. I'm a fan of AMD. Whoa, AMD is on the move. Sweet. Good stuff for AMD. Yeah, if you want to help out the algorithm, like, subscribe, completely free. Don't forget that there is the other channel for the clips of the live stream, clips of other videos, useful stuff. That's in the description of the video, but if you want to look it up, it's just called Kohrs Clips. In midday, when I'm not on the show, that's where we're like, it's still a place where you guys can talk and share ideas and do whatever you want, and we just have some lo-fi going on. So that usually, like, this stream ends around 11 a.m. in the morning, and then that one's up by like at the latest, like 11:15. So if you want to hang out there and talk with some other apes when I'm not necessarily live doing the show, that's something you could check out. What's stopping from halting AMC when it moons? I mean, nothing. The halts are just a percentage move in a certain amount of time, and then the stock is halted. The halting rules are very, very clear, and they're applied to all stocks simultaneously throughout the day. There are other reasons for halts, like there's non-volatility halts, but if you're referring to volatility halts, what hit Robinhood already twice today? Brokerages don't decide that. The stock market decides that. The people who are operating the stock market. It's not a brokerage thing. Put your hat on for this series. This is all tied together and we may never know. What is the point of a company going public to raise capital? They do this to raise capital to pay us. Could be. Yeah, I like what you're... Whoa, Robinhood up even more. It's up to $85 now. I won... Shout out the Mr... On Webull, I have no short button for Hood. Yeah, some of them, they don't have it. Like if it's a hard to borrow asset or something like that. Look at that. 85 down to 72. Is it another volatility halt? Now we already have its third volatility halt. So right there, it's just like obviously high volatility, and that's exactly what a volatility halt is. So we've had 2 upward volatility halts and now 1 downward volatility halt. How do you think Vlad feels today? Should he have more confidence in his own company before selling 250 million worth of shares? Yeah, I mean, he missed out on like what, $250 million? That's no bueno. That is no bueno. Who knows? This could be the start of the drop. 85 to 72, pure insanity. Pure insanity. What I don't get is, so a lot of mainstream media, when this happened with AMC recently in June, when this happened with GME back in January, they're like, oh, this is a pump and dump. How many mainstream media outlets do you think are going to call Robinhood a pump and dump? They're not, because they know that our community is against it. But I just want you to like kind of take notice of that, of how when it was a stock that they didn't support, oh, no, this is manipulation. It's a pump and dump. The retail public shouldn't be doing it. And then yet when it happens in Robinhood, they're like, nothing. They're going to be like, oh, Robinhood's, it's up so much today. People are making a lot of money. Like, that's great. Everyone should be in it. Just, I'm begging you, pay attention to the mainstream media's rhetoric on Robinhood. It's going to be completely opposite of what they have said about AMC and GME. It's going to be, I'm telling you, today when you're looking at whatever your newsletters and all that good stuff is, it's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. And it's gonna tell you that like who their supporters are. Someone said hood options are up now. Really? Does that mean you could get some puts if you want? I didn't know. The halt is still going on. My thing is just not loading. I don't know if it will or won't get filled. Nothing's loading. I can't. I wanted to see if there are the options because this would be the first day that the options mark. I wonder if that's why it's going absolutely crazy. Oh, there is an options market built out. That's insane. That is crazy, crazy, crazy. Did not know that. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Could be now that it's the first day of options on Robinhood. So if you want to play, it looks like for August 20th, if you want to play calls or puts, you're allowed to. That is now an option. AMD still looking strong. AMC bouncing 33.70. GME at 155. Just bought hood puts 45 September 17th. Hey, I mean, do whatever you guys want to do. I cannot advise you on your positions. What I can tell you is right now, personally, I have no hood position whatsoever. I just don't know. It seems like a tough trade. Not gonna lie, just shorted the shit out of hood. Finally got my money after leaving Robinhood and back in Webull. Ended up picking up even more shares due to the dip. Let's effing go. All I want in my life is for Robinhood to have another margin call and have to disable buying of their own stock. Well, that and for Jimmy and Amy to moon. It's so funny. Like there's just so much animosity with Robinhood. This, I don't know. It could keep going, but I really would not be surprised if this thing just craters. Like if they just rip the rug from this, people taking their profits. I mean, the people who got in yesterday, even at the highest value, I mean, you're up 54%. We'll see. Let's see how this plays out. Thanks, Dad. What's going on? The Mr. Personally, I don't know what's going on with hood. We already see 3 volatility halts. Who knows what's going on with this thing? Who knows? Who knows? Just, I suppose, insanity. I suppose some insanity. I suppose some insanity. AMC, is hood gonna plummet right here? Is this it? Is it run over? Is it done? Is this are they getting ready? Are they pulling up? Are they gripping onto the rug, getting ready to rip that one? Could be. Went from 85 down to 68. Just huge, huge volatility. Morning, Maximilian. Morning, Abe's going to figure out how this vote thing today. Hope you're all doing well. Waiting for my paycheck so I can buy way more stonk. Shout out, Kinky Kong. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Kohrs, totally real 10K run. I like that. I like that, folks. Let's stand up. Let's work on those 6-packs. Arthur made 30K on hood buying more AMC. Congratulations, Arthur. That's huge. That is massive. That is massive. That is massive. That is massive. I just want to know what way they're actually going to be like ripping hood. Are they going to rip it up? Are they going to rip it down? I just want to know what they are doing. What is this? All right. We are going to the moon. AMC currently 33.25, GME 154, and then we have AMD at 117.50. I wouldn't touch hood, period. Calls, puts can be seen as manipulators. Just food for thought. Can be seen by manipulators. As in, are you just saying like the market makers can see it? Cameraman and Kramer pushing hood on Twitter. I guess they're whatever. To each their own. Not something I would personally be doing. Doesn't, to me, it looks I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna play out, so I can't tell anyone how it's gonna play out because I have no clue. I can just tell you it does seem pretty strange. Pretty strange. And I know, like, you just know that they're going to be on their high horse now of all these people who are like, look, like, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, come on. Come on. What else are we at? What questions do we have? Cameraman. I wonder what they were saying. Let me check out those tweets. Ba 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 ba. Webull not on the list for AMC stockholder, but someone said use Apex instead. Yes. So this has been, I guess, like a common discussed thing. If you own your shares on Webull, you're going to have to create an account on Apex Clearing, link your Webull account to it, and then you could vote through that. Morning, Matt. Morning, Tyler. Oh, so I wanted to look this up. So who is you said Kramer is pumping Robinhood? Let me check this out. Hood is insane. We love it on Mad Money on CNBC. Well, here on Dumb Money, MOON, we don't like it. Oh, Kramer. Oh, Kramer. I love the Jeopardy feature during Mad Dash. What else did he say? All right, so he just said that CNBC likes it. He said 1 hour ago, do they want 60 for a hood? Do they want to rip the rug out from people? Another question. And then someone else said cameraman is pumping it. Hood up 64% today after the massive 400 million dark pool print at 38. Follow the money. Yeah, so it sounds like she is as well. Don't know how I really feel about that one. Robinhood markets shares pairs some gains now up. Hood from 85 to 63 in 10 minutes. This too is perfectly normal. Oh man, I love this account. I have no idea who this is, and they're just more of general stock market commentary. It's Zero Hedge, very popular though. I mean, 1 million followers. Hood from 85 to 63 in 10 minutes. This too is perfectly normal, right? Oh, fascinating stuff. That's pretty funny. Robinhood shares scream higher in pre-market as Wall Street bet warriors. Robinhood goes so Wall Street Bets is supporting Robinhood? Is that what this is? What do we have? The trading boost came alongside ARK investment. ARK FinTech bought 90,000 shares of it. What else do we have? CNBC commented this morning that Hood is the most searched ticker symbol on the site, and positive sentiment dwarfs negative in Hood on Wall Street Bets Reddit. That I find it hard to believe that Wall Street Bets is supporting Hood. They might be. I just find that really to be the opposite of the ethos of Wall Street Bets. I find that strange. What was that one? If you like Hood at 85 15 minutes ago, you should love it at 65 right now. This is funny. This is good stuff. Down she goes. Down she goes. Hood has options now. Please take a look at the market orders on Hood. The market orders. I mean, here's the time and sales. I don't know what you want me to look at specifically. This seems pretty normal for a high volatility stock. Not gonna lie, folks. I kind of want to bet against it, but I don't know how. I don't know the best way for me to structure it. I just think this is a pump and dump. That's my opinion. It might not be. Who knows? Maybe it rips. I don't know. I just don't like the company. I don't like a company who basically their name. They are the opposite of their name. They think they are democratizing finance. No, they're not. No, they are not. They control the vote in the company, even though they don't have that much equity anymore. They still control the vote. They went out of their way to accept. They said they will accept higher payment for order flow for less quality execution. They are such a, it's frustrating because they're clearly against everything they say they stand for. They say they stand for something, and then yet everything in the background is the exact opposite. I don't understand how a company like that will possibly do well. Yeah, maybe they pump it. Maybe it gets pumped up. I just don't see how it can last. That's my own opinion. Do what you want to do with that, but I just don't see how something like that possibly lasts. The ethos of Wall Street Bets, that's funny. I just think it's a play for Wall Street Bets to take free money from Robinhood to further AMC movement and trade. Could be. I mean, even anecdotally, what we're seeing in stream right now, a lot of people made money already on Hood. They locked it in. I mean, I've seen so many messages that they locked it in and already bought more AMC. Like, cool. All right. That's more money into AMC. I'm in no way going to knock that. Vlad's haircut says everything. All right. Is it going to keep falling? 62.37 is aligned in the sand. AMD looking good, up 6% on the day. AMC at 33.25, still kind of holding out there. The volume on AMC, 14.8 million. It's okay, still a little bit on the lower side. GME is at 452,000, definitely on the lower side. Thoughts on mRNA? mRNA. I think that this thing is ripping, but you don't want to get in at the all-time high. So that's just chasing. So if you're already in it, congratulations. Like, ride this out. Like, you're making a stupid amount of money. That's great. But if you don't have a position now, you don't want to be the person buying it at a new high close to a psychological resistance of 400. It might keep going. Obviously, that's a possibility. But this is, in my own trading methodology, I would not hop on at a new high. People are talking about Nikola. I mean, it's bouncing off of this previous low, which is support. If it doesn't have any momentum follow through, it could just crater. But two puts already up 26%. Congratulations. Man, I feel like did anyone in here get puts right at this point, like right before the drop, like right after this, like, cause it unhalted, shot up. Did anyone in chat get puts on Robinhood right about here? Cause if so, I'm jealous of you. Thoughts on CVM? CVM. I don't know what's going on with this. If it gets above 10, it might get some sort of recovery, say to 15. But this seems like a wild day. Did it have a bad earn? Like something had to happen in late June that absolutely crushed this. I don't know anything about the stock. It might get some momentum, like I said. If you get above 974, you might have something there, possibly. But that's what I would personally be watching. All right, we did that. I am thirsty. I am tired. Too much math. Too much bimodal information last night going on in my brain, but exciting stuff. Exciting. If all these people made money from HUD to purchase AMC, why is there no upward pressure? I feel like I hear this every day. A lot of apes buying, but continued drop even with low volume. Shouldn't we see a higher upward movement? I mean, stock killer. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I think that some people are kind of fibbing about them buying? Yeah. Do I think some people are telling the truth about them buying? Of course. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. But right now, you have to take this into account, stock killer. We're not of the size that's going to like be a huge impact. Like right now, there's 17,000 people watching, and they've traded already 15.7 million shares. So if everyone in here was still very, very honest about what they bought, how much they bought, it would still be reasonable because it's just so much larger. This volume is huge compared to the size of the people in this. I mean, if everyone in here bought 100 shares, which is decent money to buy 100 shares, we're talking about only 1.7 million in volume, which is still a tenth of the overall volume. So like you have to understand like that the viewership and people buying, even at a bloated number, if everyone bought 100, it's still somewhat of the drop in the bucket scenario. I wish I listened to you, Matt. I got greedy with Hood Play, lost 4K of my 13K profits on AMC. I am so against this concept of chasing. Chasing is not a good thing. I've seen it too many times. Once in a while, you're going to make some money, but if you do it enough, you're going to get caught and you're going to get burned. You're going to get caught. You're going to get burned. Gonna get caught. Gonna get burned. What else? I'm getting some texts. Is there some news on? Oh, wait. This is AMD, not AMC. AMD, not AMC. Feels like a pump and dump, but what do I know? GME looking hot. 155 up 1.77% on the day. AMC is 32.82 and it's down 2.3% on the day thus far. Thoughts on BYDDY? That has 5 letters, so that's more on the gray market. I don't trade those, Ryan. It most likely is a penny stock, but even if it isn't, it's not on a normal market. Look at GNUS coming to the tip of the wedge. Think it'll break up. Lots of shorts, 7 days to cover. Retail owns most. Think it'll break up. I don't know. This actually looks more bearish to me than it does bullish on GNUS. I mean, we're just going down. Yeah, I mean, it could break either way, but like just my first knee-jerk reaction to it is it looks like it might break and want to come test 146, 150. I'm on the daily chart, right? Yeah, I don't know if I would want to put my money into GNUS. Mother Duck, can you look into Hood and see if any shares sent to dark pools? Sent to dark pools. There's gonna be trading on dark pools. Dark pools do not. You can't trade on a dark pool and somehow not impact the price. Dave Lauer explained that in the interview. Trading on a dark pool still has a material impact on the price action. Trading execution is very different than trade reporting. But with Hood, I'm sure a lot of trades happen on the dark pool. Like that's what happens with a lot of stocks. Maybe not necessarily dark pools, but off exchange. A lot of trading these days is done off exchange. Hood hanging on by the skin of its teeth. Look for the breakdown. Look for the breakdown. It's tapping. It's tapping. We're tapping the support. Is it going to snap? Is it going to snap? 54.30. What you doing, Hood? If this support doesn't hold, we might see a flush right to 54.40. GME looking good, heading up to 156. Just made a new intraday high. AMC popped above 33, right now at 32.92, but it is coming back around. So it's kind of odd. AMC and GME bending back around as Hood is going down. Interesting to note, correlation doesn't necessarily mean causation. And I hate to cheer against it because there are just people who work at Robinhood. Like at a certain point, you do have to just be a human about it and be like, okay, maybe we don't like Sorkin, maybe we don't like Kramer, maybe you don't like Vlad. But remember, at all of those companies, CNBC and Robinhood, there also are just like normal employees. It's tough. It's tough. You can maybe not like the leader of it, but I don't want to be like overly outspoken rooting for the failure of a company, because I also understand that there's just normal people there who you and I would probably like that are just trying to do their job and trying to like get money to put food on the table, pay off their bills. So it's a tough one. Like I don't like this concept of like rooting for a stock to absolutely plummet. If there were a world in which those three people could lose money and maybe it doesn't impact the employees of CNBC or Robinhood, yeah, I mean, I would like that a bit better. It sucks. It sucks. But still, what Sorkin says and does, what Kramer says and does, what Vlad says and does, not a fan of it. Not a fan of it in the slightest. Go to the 1 minute on this. Actually, let's go to the 3 minute on all this good stuff. IWM looking good. All right. All right. All right. All right. Looking a bit heavy there, Robinhood. Probably should have used a bit more beach body. Can a weird glitch get corrected if I got filled on Hood put? That is no way should have gone through. I don't know, but how I got a put at 45 cents. I don't think that's a glitch. Like that the trade went through. Like that was on what's referred to as the tape. Like someone gave you that put at 45. BYDDY is a $70 stock. Yeah, so not everything on the gray market, that's a 5-letter stock. I'm just saying it's not, the fact that it's 5 letters, it's not on a normal market. The same thing with like Volkswagen. Right now, obviously Volkswagen is not a penny stock, but it's not trading on a normal market. That's why it has 5 letters in its ticker symbol. I'm saying a lot of the stocks, when they have 5 letters, end up being a penny stock, but not all by any means. With Volkswagen being another example. A lot of them are just not trading on like a normal market that we would think of, like the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. It's listed on a different market, maybe because it's international. Like, I mean, there's a host of reasons. Your thoughts on Rocket Lab, SPAC, VACQ, NZ Space Company. A space company? I haven't heard of that one. SPACs are kind of falling out of favor of the public. SPACs were really, really hot in 2020, and recently SPACs have not been doing the best. In terms of a rocket company, whenever you find a sector you like, it's usually more profitable to go with the leaders in that particular sector. So for example, if you're looking at a space company, well, I don't know. I know Blue Origin is still private. I know SpaceX is still private. There is Virgin Galactic, but like with this, SPACs were very, very hot in 2020 and not really much anymore. They might come back, but I would offer a little bit I'd be a little bit cautious about that particular one. Good question though, Red Panda. Mark, shout out. Thanks, Matt. That worked perfectly. Thanks for all you do. Pimp Daddy Duck. James Payne, what's going on? Thoughts on CCXI? CCXI. Chemo. This sounds like it's in the biopharmaceutical and it's up. Ooh, the chart does look good. I mean, if you already have a position, congratulations, it broke out. If you're getting in now, you'd almost have to risk 1460. So if you're okay with risking $1, and if you think it holds, you might get a run up to 1650. That's 1-to-1. That's really not the best risk to reward ratio, but if it breaks above that, it can keep going. I know nothing about the fundamentals of this company or what it does or doesn't do, but I think the chart is good. A new higher low, trying to break out. I'd be interested to see if it closes above 1561 on considerable volume. Right now it's looking good, but the volume is very low. Other people are asking about FUV. This is looking good too. This is not the point to enter though, because it's coming right up to resistance and your closest support is not that close. If you already have a position, congratulations. But for me, I'm not buying after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days right at resistance. Not the play for me. BYDDY. Let's check that one out. BYDDY. See how it's on the OTC markets? It's not on a normal market. And that's why it like looks a bit choppy and it's up huge. So if you're in it, Back Neo rival auto, it's another rival automaker. It's looking really good, but it's also at resistance after a monster run. You're kind of chasing a running stock, and it's historically, at least for me, not good to chase a running stock. If you're in it, congrats, especially if you got in on this breakout at 60 and it ripped up to 70. But right now, you're literally buying it at a high and it's at resistance after a crazy run. I think it's just too much risk. Rocket Labs is like SpaceX, about half the market value-ish. It might be like it, but the issue is SpaceX has the huge narrative supporting it because it's being, I guess, owned and operated by Elon Musk. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing of Rocket Labs. And I'm not saying that means it's going to do bad or anything. It's just sometimes it's easier to make the most money off like the front runner. Got $30 puts on Robinhood, perfectly balanced. Hood was only paused once. No, it was actually paused 3 times today. There was 3 different halts. All the info and the URL. Okie dokie artichoke. How's IWM doing? Is it still ripping to the moon? Taking a bit of a breather? I'm on Robinhood. We're watching this right here. Support, 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 support. If it breaks the support, I think it falls an additional $8 to 54 to test the next support. But right now, just all the volume and volatility dried up. I mean, 16 million, 4 million, 4 million, and now we're trading 1 million, 2 millions, half a million. Just quickly drying up. Would you look at the PAA chart? Thanks for all you do. Quack, quack. PAA. Nice bounce off of the support. Ooh, Robinhood breaking down, folks. Caught. What's it doing? Someone's trying to catch it. Look at, see how it's getting a bit snappy right now? It's because so many people are reacting to this level of support. You're seeing like even more, like all of a sudden the volume and the volatility is picking up within this 3-minute time frame because people know this is a support. They're thinking, okay, if we could buy it here, it might rip, but if it breaks down, it might dip. This is why you're seeing like more of a snap and more volume come through. Anyway, for PAA, Plains Almer. I mean, the play on this one is obviously it's downtrending, but if you are willing to risk 934, 925, or 9, if you keep your risk reasonable, and if you think this is the official bounce, I mean, have at it. I don't know anything about it, so I don't know if I'd want to go long or short. I know it's downtrending, but it does look like we might have some weird form of a double bottom at this 935-ish area. So if you get the follow through, it could be strong, but I would just keep, whenever you get into any trade, what is your risk? What is your reward? Stick to your trading plan. Someone just said hashtag free Keenan Grace. What happened with Keenan Grace? Was he kicked off of YouTube or something? Joel, what happened with Keenan Grace? For all the people saying Robinhood is a trap, we get it. No one's disagreeing with you, like at all. Folks, we get it, we get it, we get it. Robinhood's a trap. We're kind of all in agreement with that. We're good. Hey, Matt, why would Apex say I have 112 shares, but my Webull says I have 120? I did buy 8 yesterday when it transferred from Robinhood months ago. It never showed position, just my shares. Any ideas? Yeah, T2 settlement. You bought it yesterday, so the trade has not the trade has not necessarily cleared. So that's why, because you bought it yesterday and we live on a T2 settlement cycle. His Wi-Fi went out. Okay, that's very, very different, folks, than YouTube cutting it. I am looking at AMC Q&A and someone has 35.5 million shares on hold and hodl for sure. Not someone, that's the total aggregate, James. That's all the people who voted, their shares added together. With Webull, you have to use Apex. Yes, Josh, you have to use Apex. Robinhood is breaking down. Breaking down. What did it? 46.80. Oh, I want to get into a fight with Jim Cramer when it goes red on the day. When this goes red on the day, oh, folks, if it's a war of attrition of who could be a bigger petty asshole, I will win that fight. 46.80. Come on. I just want to zoom in to get this perfect for everyone. 46.80 is where we go red on the day. And that's when I get released on Twitter. And I'm just, anyone who's been pumping up Robinhood, I'm going to go bonkers. Just go absolutely bonkers on it. So right here, this is the magic line. I think right now with this breakdown, we're headed to this support of 54.40. We're going to watch that. It is support. It could bounce off of it. I have no clue. If it breaks below that, the next level to watch is 46.80, which is yesterday's close. Wait, really? Okay, I guess it is. What is this one? High 48.59 is the high from yesterday. 48.59, 48.59. 48, 59, 48, 59, 48. Let's mark that out for fun. 48, 59. There we go. Close enough. Within a cent. You guys, you'll remember that it's 1 cent higher. I have faith in you. Down she goes. Down she goes. All right. Okay. So PAA might be a double bottom opportunity there. How's AMD looking? Whoa there, Scooter. AMD. It's on the rip right now. It's on the rip, folks. I mean, it consolidated for like an entire year. So congratulations if you've been in AMD just holding that play. Almost 20 million shares borrowed on one HR according to Sanko Tractor for AMC. How in the world are they still borrowing so much when we all know mathematically there's nothing left to borrow? You borrow from people who own. Borrowing has nothing to do with the float or the outstanding shares. You borrow it from people who are willing to lend the shares out that they own. 20 million? Let me just double check that because I don't buy that. No, they've borrowed 3.96 million. 20 million is huge. I don't know. I don't think that they've borrowed 20 million shares. That would be the biggest borrow we've seen in the past 6 months. Like almost by double. That would be absolutely insane. There's not even that much more room in the utilization to run. 10%. At most, the utilization is already over 90%. As in today, they could at most probably borrow another 10, maybe 12 million if they wanted to, based on the people who are currently willing to lend it out. The 20 million thing, I don't see where that adds up. I just don't think that's true. AMC currently at 32.47 and GME's at 153.57. AMD ripping, it's at 120. When an exchange stock gets traded like a pump and dump. Hey Matt, I'm thinking about doing a $35 put expiration tomorrow for Uber with earnings at 4:30. Any input? Jessica, it's binary. You're flipping a coin. Either it's gonna hit on earnings and it's gonna gap up and you're gonna lose, or it's gonna miss on earnings or dump down. There's technicals. If you're doing an earnings play, technicals don't really matter. It's binary. Either you're going to be right or wrong. It's the flip of a coin. How does AMC reach 72 with 700 million volume, but Hood reaches 85 with only 60 million? Because they have completely different outstanding share counts. They don't have the same share count. Robinhood has less shares, and when something is a lower float, as in less shares, it's easier to move up or down. AMC has a lot of shares, so it's harder to push it up, it's harder to push it down relative to Robinhood. Hi Mark, tinfoil hat theory. Shorts Matt see the Hood pump and dump as a psychological tool to make apes think the same dump will happen early to AMC. I don't think I really agree with that because AMC's already been going on for 6 months. Robinhood's been going on for like not even 6 days. What do we see? I'm looking at AMC Q&A. All right, no single person has 35.5 million reported on that Q&A. That's the total aggregate, the cumulative aggregate. All right, I think I'm up to date. Trey released a video about an algo titled LOL Robinhood. If Hood tanks, we should get a hashtag good call Kramer trending. That'd be kind of funny. Robinhood trying to retake. this support level, which is now acting as resistance, roughly at, what is this, 62.50-ish, roughly. AMD moving up still. I don't know if I have AMD. If I do, it would be my retirement account. I don't get why there's so much fear around AMC and GME. Like, I'm a 19-year-old and I know we won. It's all the research is done. Now we wait. So sorry, I confused trading volume with borrowed shares. I promise my brain has real wrinkles. Yeah, those are very, it's all good. We make mistakes. It's all good. But yeah, trading volume is very, very different than shares borrowed. I mean, there's not 20 million shares to be borrowed. Matt, Hood has more shares than AMC? No, I don't think so. Let me double check. I'll double check really quick. We'll get the numbers out there. So we know the outstanding share count. This is just not loading. The outstanding share count for AMC is 513 million. And I thought I read that they offered for Robinhood. What is going on here? Ortex just went down. I thought they offered like 50 million or something for Robinhood. Hang on. They might be close. Let me do the math really quick. 835 times 0.63. They're actually very comparable. It's 526 million, and then the free float of AMC is 512. I must have been off by a decimal because I thought it was 52, not 526 million. So my apologies. That is completely my mistake. I had the decimal off in my head. Robinhood and AMC, in terms of their free float, are pretty comparable. So to come back to the other question, let me now re-answer that question with that other thing. The free floats on these companies within 15 million of each other. Okay, so how does AMC reach 72 with 700 million volume, but Robinhood reaches 85 with only 60 million? That is a bit of an abnormality. But I guess you also first remember that the day is not over. So you're looking at 700 million and that was 72 when the day was completed. This is traded 64 million and the day's not over yet. So I think that is definitely important to note. The 700 million you're getting, like, look at the point to where we got to 72, and then maybe if you want to add the volume that way. But really, think about it like this. If no one in the world was trading Robinhood, and everyone's like, we're not buying, we are not selling Robinhood today, like, unanimously, everyone agreed to not buy Robinhood or AMC or whatever. And then I walked in and you walked in and I agreed to buy a share off you for $1,000, and that's it. There's only one trade that day. You're the seller, I'm the buyer, and we agree on $1,000. That's a volume of one share, and then the stock's at $1,000. That it's mathematically possible. Like, that's not indicative of manipulation or anything like that. It's just like the amount of people who've traded it, that's the current price that they're agreeing upon. Webull shows 650 million free float on Robinhood. I'm seeing 526 million free float according to Ortex. Yeah, I'm seeing 63% free float, 835 million. So that's about 526 million. There is a little bit of wiggle room in free float. There is not an agreed upon way to calculate free float. It's not like somewhere filed with a governing body. They're like, this is the free float, this is the closely held, here's the outstanding. Free float is very much an assumption based on the person providing the data, because some people would be like, well, so outstanding shares equals closely held plus the free float. These two added together, free float plus closely held, equals outstanding share. The outstanding share is the only one that, like, I guess, should be properly accounted for by a governing body. The other two are just the data provider's opinion on what is closely held and what is free float. There's not a unanimous way to say everyone should have this free float. And the reason for that is because there are some pension funds that one market provider, data source provider might be like, we don't think they're going to sell in the next year, so let's put it in closely held. While another data provider might be like, we think that they actually might sell, so let's put it into free float. It's just more of a discrepancy of sorry about that. It's a discrepancy in the who we define as closely held, and the different providers can look at that differently. That's why there's a difference. Is Hood being delta hedged in terms of the market? I'm sure it is, but this is such an incredibly different scenario than AMC and GME. I mean, the thing's already selling off. It ran up to 85. We're down to 61. That is what? A drop of 25% plus already from 9:45 until now. So not even in an hour, it's dropped 25%. It's below this support. To me, it looks like it's coming down to 55 I don't know if I should say shortly, but if it's remaining below 62.40, I think the next one is 54.40. If I didn't know Robinhood was Robinhood, looking at the chart now, I would still be bearish on it. Just looking at the chart, it shot up. It has a pump and dump vibe. Is it a pump and dump? I have no clue. I can't say that definitively, but I'm just telling you, it came out of nowhere, a huge spike up, it dropped off, the volume's dying off. Those are telltale signs of a pump and dump. Is this one specifically that? I have no clue, but I'm just saying what we're seeing thus far as of 10:36 on August 4th, I would be more bearish on it than I would be bullish. But that's my own opinion. If you think it's going to rip, okay, you think it's going to rip, we disagree. That's fine. We're allowed to have different opinions. Who is this liar? Jamal Hamden. I just want you to know you're a nobody. I've already talked about XELA. I'm seeing a lot of XELA, a lot of XELA, almost too much. Folks, I've already talked about XCLA. I'm not really going to get in it. Hi, Matt. Sorry for a lame question. I'm learning. How many shorts shares are there out there for AMC? Can only hold the short shares for years. What's the difference between volume and an open interest? How many short shares are out there? So the legally reported ones, we know it's kind of in the realm of 80 million. The legally reported ones, not talking about naked short. So obviously it's going to just be higher. So that's how many are out there. Can they hold the short shares for years? As long as they are paying the cost to borrow, and as long as they're not margin called, and as long as there's not a forced buy-in, yes, they can hold it for as long as they want. What's the difference between volume and open interest? If you're referring to options, volume is the amount of options traded that day, and then open interest is the amount of current live options for that strike price and that expiration date. Volume is the volume of that day. Open interest is almost the cumulative total of live contracts for that expiration date and that strike price. I think Hood is being used to strip people out of AMC in hopes of big gains, just to rip everything away from them and get a jump on us. Maybe. Could be. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a possibility. FUD spreader. Why is Kathy Wood buying Hood then? I have no idea what you mean, FUD spreader. I'm literally saying facts. Robinhood, the U.S. Attorney's Office took Vlad's phone. FINRA is looking into Vlad and bought the other founder of the company for not being registered. There are public statements that they actively went out of their way to say, hey, we will accept a higher payment for order flow and give our customers a basically a shittier execution quality. That is not FUD. That is all factual things you guys can look up. That's not an opinion. It's all documented, legally documented. You guys can look it up. I'm just telling you, I don't like Hood. I don't think a company can sustain anything if it treats all of its customers like shit and is actively stealing from them. That's my opinion. You know what? If you like Hood, buy it. See how Hood goes if you like it. Honestly, if you're that confident that I am spreading FUD on Hood and I'm just trying to bash it down, okay, then buy it. I don't care what you do. I am pointing out facts. It's your money. Do what you want with your money. You know, the fact that I see so many people standing up for Robinhood makes me want to go out of my way and actually short it right now. This is not an opinionated thing. How is AMC dropping right now? Shouldn't we be going up with ETFs and pension funds wildly increasing their positions? Mike, they wildly increased their positions previously. They're not doing the buying right now. Can we keep the top right price AMC? Yeah, sorry. Stock should be serialized and registered to the owner. When a stock is sold, it should be transferred to the new owner and registered with them. I agree. I agree with you. Have the $10 short shares covered? We have no way of definitively knowing that. Don't short might be a trap to squeeze us. Also, if you are for Hood, you are not an ape, just saying. I mean, I think the trap was already what we just saw to entice people to join in. They saw the run up to 85. And I mean, you can rewind this stream. I was warning people, you don't chase a new all-time high or runner, especially with a company that is so legally toxic as Robinhood. There are, like, my brain doesn't understand the size of the number of legal cases against Robinhood right now. On both the federal and state level, Robinhood is in deep shit. This isn't an opinion of like, oh, he's making, no, you can see, Google it, Robinhood cases right now. They are being sued into the abyss, man. A federal and state level, there are so many legal cases against Robinhood. They have his phone. FINRA's looking into him. Obviously, they piss FINRA off because FINRA keeps looking into Vlad, keeps looking into Bot. The overall retail public, who's supposed to be their customer, think about the animosity towards them. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It would be one thing if Robinhood was the only one in its field, but now with the rise of what? SoFi, Cash App, Webull, Public, Fidelity has free trading. There's now other free trading. This has become a joke at this point. How long is the government going to let this happen? Do numbers not matter? Owning 2 to 3x of float doesn't matter. How long can they keep doing this? It depends on how we got to 2 or 3x the float. It is possible to get to 2 or 3x the float with legal, legitimate shorting. That is possible. It's referred to as a process is called rehypothecation. But with that being said, I don't see how we got to 2. I don't know how you're getting 2 to 3x the float. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that math, but I do agree with the math that based on the current legally reported shorts, I don't see how we possibly explain the numbers we're seeing. So I agree with you with the core of your saying, maybe just like semantics, some of the difference. Next week kicks off high volume of FTDs, T35 expiry. Moonshots, we've seen that a lot of people bringing up this T35 thing, and it typically doesn't like lead to anything. So I just wouldn't set up expectations on that. They wanted us to short so we'd be underwater right now. Short what, Kev? Can I get an ape? Shout out Joel. Matt, remember there probably account on here paid by hedge funds to spread FUD. Don't react to them. Yeah, it very much does feel like someone's in here paid to like support Hood. There's no one who identifies as an ape and identifies as a member of the AMC and GME cause that would also come in and be like, hey, I really like Hood. If you made money off of Hood as a trade, okay, that's a completely different story. But if you're in here supporting like the company and what they've done to this community, I hope they paid you a lot. I hope you're just not doing it for free. They all have free trading thanks to Hood. Okay, maybe, but now there's other free trading, and like in the realm of free trading, they're arguably the shittiest one. So what's your point? Dude, I'm telling you, if you like Robinhood, go long on it. Let's see who's right, man. You don't have to like a guy sending me money to probably lose more money on Robinhood, have at it. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your mom. If you like Robinhood, buy it. I don't like Robinhood. I'm not going to be buying it. Hey man, love everything you do. F the haters, just please get rid of Hood. Don't give it any attention and won't have to. No, I want to talk about it because I don't want people to think that. I want people to know my opinions on it. I don't want people to think, oh man, it's going to run back to 85. It might be a money opportunity. We are at war with the hedgies. Keep buying and hodling. Remember when Clove squeezed and then skyrocketing could be deja vu with Hood? Very well could be. AMC to the moon, agree with you 100%. Hood is a pump and dump. I know this is just a guess, but 32 seems like a safe place to buy more AMC. Last few times I bought, thought on the low, I was wrong. Right now, there is support kind of in this region between 30 and 34. Shorting priceless. Travis Wilson. Hey, Matt, appreciate your solid study facts. Everything you are saying checks out. And I'm not saying any names, but it looks like a typical retail psychological trick for a certain stock. And I'm not talking about AMC. What's going on, Fred? Matt, I'm in the delivery room with my wife giving birth to our baby ape. I told her to calm down. So I got that going for me. Can you give me some TA on pins? I am looking for a gap fill. Ben, what is going on? Congratulations. Yeah, so you're looking for it to kind of clear, what is this, 60.88? And from there, I mean, there is the gap fill. You could play half of the gap fill. This low of 66.17 is a possibility halfway through the gap, or you could look for a full gap fill. Pinterest, I don't know much about its fundamentals, but yesterday I was saying I do think it's an interesting trade. I know Zip Trader posted a more in-depth video about it, so maybe that's something people want to check out. But obviously it's missed on its earnings. I believe it had slower than expected user growth. And with that being said, like I'm not saying it's a long-term fundamental investment, but there are probably decent odds for the gap fill up to 70. AMC pops on the quarterly options chains, hodl, and watch for September and December. Shout out Trade Raid X. If shares were serialized, how would fractional work? I don't know, probably another subset of fractional or something like that. Crystal, members only, so tired of the wishy-washy weak ones. Mods, let me know. I mean, we really don't have that much time to go left on the morning one. Matt, please give me 5 minutes on stream and you apes will know exactly how AMC will move every day. There's no way that's true. No one can predict the market like that. Love you, Matt. You changed the ape community. AMC 500K. Let's go, baby. We have the hedgies by the balls and they're feeling the heat. Shorts have not covered. Shout out Austin. Will you explain in the CS report, they were allowed to I have no idea what that strategy is. Oh, hey, Mark. Some weirdos bought Hood highs. LOL. Oops. Hey, Matt. NASDAQ posted 6 days ago saying they are bullish on AMC earnings. It is likely the price is being pushed down to limit the overall gains. I think people are just buying it and selling it at a lesser and lesser price. Like there's right now, the supply is outweighing the demand. One of the biggest issues, and you almost see this in the metrics on social media, is less and less people. Like we have that core supporter group, but we need to get back that in-between group who they're not hardcore apes, but they would buy AMC if it was back on their mind. I think a lot of people on the fence are just kind of watching it from the outskirts, and we need to get those people involved again. I think is one of the biggest issue. So the demand outweighs the supply, because right now when the stock goes down, the supply is outweighing the demand. Focus on fluffy ducks, glistening diamonds, and the strongest of apes, and action. Ryan, I'll keep this simple. The shorts haven't covered. The apes aren't going anywhere. I'm hodling. If the shorts cover their positions, does that mean they know the shares of AMC? And if AMC keeps going up, do they make money and then can sell? If the shorts cover their positions, does that mean they can own shares of AMC? They would have to cover and then buy again. That is a possibility. But they would want to do that before the other shorts cover. So the first shorts covering could pull that off successfully, but not all of them. Because one of the shorts at the end of the day will be holding the bag. I bought a 70 call for January 2022 when we first ran to 70. Do you think it'll hit 70 again before 2022? A price prediction, especially with a certain date, that's just pure guessing. The Gazcool becoming a space ape. Shout out to the Gazcool. Thank you for becoming a member. When Hood is in the red, nowhere to be found. When Hood is in the green, they are in your face. Followers. Yeah, I mean, you're just going to have haters. And that lets me know that we're, as a community, onto something, because there is definitely a plethora of haters across the board. We have people in mainstream media, we have Wall Streeters, and we have pathetic keyboard warriors. That's how you know you're onto something, is when you're just like day in and day out getting a whole new host every single day of these like sad little haters. Who is this one? They sold out on us. We're speaking out against Robert Rhyme. I need to this was a joke before, but I think I really do need to get a hearing aid sponsorship. Like immediately, because I'm very much and it's a small minority of these sad little keyboard warriors who just don't listen. Someone just said, because I'm speaking illy of Robinhood, that somehow means I sold out of my AMC. I mean, I know the Olympics are going on, but I hope you make the next team, because the mental gymnastics you just went through to get to that conclusion, it's amazing. I don't think we've seen a routine that extreme and complicated in years of my mental gymnastics judging, and you should try out for the Olympic team. All right. Any chance you could look at the CLSK chart? I am long, seems to get beat up by a lot of shorts. I don't know if it is being shorted. Yeah, if it does not hold like this 1240, 1250 area, 1275 in here, I'd be worried. If it holds it, you still might get this bounce, but it's definitely been sold off for quite a while now. Clean spark. But hey, if the alternative energy industry starts getting a bit more like popular, which it very well could, this could start trending upward. Bag holders, Joel. If the shorts cover, all right, we did that. I bought a something. All right, we did that. Keep buying AMC, GME. We are the apes. We are diamond handing the shizzle out of the stocks. F Hood, they screwed us all. Matt, I want to remind you about AMC. You have money. It's still a good investment. Well, I mean, I've been buying AMC. The Boiler Room, shout out. Joel, shout out. Let's do, all right, a little bit. Where's my drink? Hang on one second. Okay. Easy question to answer. Is AMC going back up? No need to dance around the question. Keep it real. Keep it real. No one on this planet knows what. No one can predict it like that. Like that. What? Am I clairvoyant? Am I a fortune teller? Your thoughts on Moderna? Have a 390 call, and Moderna looks very, very strong. We pulled up the chart a little bit earlier. I don't know when you got the position. If you got it a while ago, congratulations. Ride the trend. The trend is your friend. If you just got it, you're chasing a little bit. So I would keep your risk tight, keep it a little bit more reasonable. Matt, some important info on Trading 212 are offering double the amount of what your shares are worth provided you sell the entirety of your shares. Wait, I don't know. Can anyone fact check that? That sounds a little bit weird to me. Calm, cool, collected. Just turn off the screen and go smoke some banana leaves. Ape Man G securing some tendies. Personally, I think your lack of hood love proves that you have no real girlfriend and will most likely never get married. What is going on, Carl? What is going on? Matt, calm down. What is going on? AMC, for my audio listeners, currently at 3150 and GME's at 151. Hood is at 63. I'm still watching that level of 6240. Below that, I'm watching 5440. Hi, Mort. Does Ortex show the average time a short has been held? Not a short, but the length of the shares on loan. Highly correlated, but not exactly the same. Right now, AMC's is around 42 days. AMC is not on SSR. To go on SSR, the short sale restriction list, you have to drop 10% from the previous day's close, and AMC has not dropped 10%. And once you do that, you're on SSR for the remainder of that day and the entire next day. It doesn't really protect us that much. It makes shorting more difficult. It's referred to as the uptick rule. If you're on SSR, a short position can only be taken if the stock is trending upwards. If it's trending downwards, it kind of stops the dogpiling effect. But once again, it is very much overstated how much SSR protects us. But to be very clear, AMC is not on SSR right now. GME is not on SSR right now. Peter Hahn suggesting AMC's share flow, including synthetics, is at least $2 billion versus the known $513 billion. I'm very hesitant when I'm reading Peter Hahn stuff because in his first post that took the community by storm, there were some verifiable inaccuracies in it. And what he's saying there, I'd have to read it and see his reasoning. But I'm not just going to take his word as gospel. Love what you do. Can I get a, oh, brother? What's going on, Joel? I'm new to investing industry and I'm using Webull as an app. So when I buy today on a low stock, can I sell it right away when it goes up right away? There's not, it depends on I would need a bit more information. I don't know if you have a cash account, a margin account. The answer is sometimes yes, and the answer is sometimes no. If you haven't traded at all that day, at all, and you have a margin account, yeah, you can do that. If your account's below 25K and you're battling with PDT, you might not be able to sell. It depends. It really does depend. It does depend. What else do we have? What else do we have? AMC coming back up to 32. It's at 31.75 right now. GME's at 151. Robinhood is once again testing the support resistance line of 62.50. And then CLSK, we just had that up. Okay. Shout out, Joel. PDT has to be the dumbest rule in the stock market. I 100% agree. Maybe not the dumbest rule, but it's a very dumb rule. 3150, major support on AMC. Looks like we're bouncing off of it. Did someone say discount? Loading up. All right, folks. So here's the dealio. It is 11 a.m. That is the end of the morning stream. I will be back at 2 p.m. and we'll stream from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Just so you know, it's not actually over right now. If you want to go to this, on the Matt Kohrs Clips channels, Watch Party, Stocks, and Lo-Fi Music. If you guys want to talk with each other and watch, I'm going to have some Lo-Fi music and I'll have these charts up so you can watch AMC, GME, and share your thoughts with each other. But just some Lo-Fi music going on in the background. This is the current thumbnail. If you just search this title, Watch Party, Stocks, Lo-Fi Music, I'm going to have this up and running in like 5 minutes so you guys can continue your conversation and whatever you do or don't want to talk about. But I'll leave these stocks up. I'll leave AMC in the top right. And you guys can continue to hang out and enjoy some cool background music. But I'll be doing that. And other than that, the other show of today will start at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it'll go from 2 to 4 in that one. It'll be cool. Some people are asking for Ortex before I leave. They have borrowed $4 million against it, a net of 3.28, the short interest of 15.6%. On GME, not much, short interest of 16.22%. Okay, so that's it for the morning show. I will be back at 2 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, if you want, head over to the other stream for a little bit of lo-fi music and you could still talk with each other. I will be back in a couple hours. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. And remember, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.